I know why I was in such a bad mood yesterday. Started my period, yay. I woke up to it this morning. Fun. Another month failed, another month that we've been trying and haven't had any success. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Got Charmanders going here. These just finished a little bit ago. They're parts for my new keychain display. Some Pikachus going here. Just making some more sets for the fair. I'm doing garbage. So I'm in the process of getting that done. But shoot, I forgot to get her dimmer bulbs today. Dang it. A couple of people were wondering how TTC was going. So I figured I could make a video about that while I do garbage. Oh. Okay, we're gonna get a fruit fly trap and get it set up in that bedroom. Oh boy, alrighty. So, TTC. So, if you guys are new to my channel, hi, hey, hello, welcome. My husband and I got together back in 2013. Got married July of 2018. We were expecting our first baby at that point during my pregnancy is when we got married. So I'm just like trying to compile all of my thoughts for all of this. We had gotten pregnant in June of 2017. I made it to 14 weeks and 3 days. No, 4 days. 14 weeks and 4 days when baby's heart had stopped. We didn't find out until I was 18 weeks and 4 days. 18 weeks and 3 days. I always get those two dates mixed up. Okay, so like I said, I always get those two dates mixed up. I'm pretty sure it's 14 weeks, 4 days, 18 weeks, 3 days. I later found out after I had my daughter that that baby was a boy. Don't know why they never told me sooner, but I lost the baby 10/23 of 17. That's the day that I no longer carried the child. I had had a miscarriage and I carried the baby for 3 weeks before, and even then my body didn't recognize, so I had to go and get surgery to help things because yeah. Got pregnant with my daughter December of 2019, gave birth to her September of 2018. She was around 2, I believe. No, she was about 1.5 years. Yeah. We started trying in January of 2020, so she was about a little over 1 year old. And we had not effectively, obviously, but we had started trying January of 2020. And I got off my birth control. Not that I really needed it, but got off of it. Waited until March of 2020 to start taking meds. My OBGYN that helped me get pregnant with my first child that ended in a loss, my daughter who I gave birth to, she told me that we would not have to wait and try 1 year before going back and getting meds. So my cycle is not the general 28 days. My whole time from the moment that I ever started my first period until after, or until now even, without proper medications, i.e. birth control, fertility type medications, that type of thing, I could go 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 12 months, or even longer and not get a period. I don't have regular cycles. My body doesn't ovulate the way that it should. We don't know why. Let me text my husband back. So in the process before getting put on the fertility medications, we had tried a couple of different things. We had gotten some testings done. I never had the HSG, I think is what it's called, where they like inject dye into your tubes and stuff like that, because it's not, we were not concerned about fallopian tubal blockage because I was not ovulating every month. I got an ultrasound done. I had one cyst, which she said that that was due to me ovulating because of the time that I got my cycle. I just happened to be ovulating at that point. I don't have PCOS. I don't have any known reason why I don't, or like why I'm having such difficulty. So we got put on, what was it back then? Oh gosh. I can only remember the medication I'm on right now. I cannot remember the other one that they had given me. Clomid. I had done, back before I got pregnant with my daughter and with my son who I lost, I had taken Clomid for 3 months or so. My numbers kept coming back through my blood work as non-ovulatory. So the doctor that I was seeing at that point had switched me over to my current OBGYN. She put me on letrozole or Femara, and we started at the 2.5 milligram once a day for 5 days, cycle 3 through 7. Like cycle day 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2.5 milligrams, and that's what I was on. That's what I got pregnant with Austin with, my son, who we lost. My daughter, Ella, who was born in 2018. And we hadn't had to bump up to a dose. This go round, these last 2.5 years, we started off at 2.5, got bumped up to 5. The 5 milligram, so I take 2.5 milligram tablets once a day, cycle day 3 through 7. So I take a total of 10 tablets throughout the course of those 5 days. That was working. I could feel it in my ovaries when I was ovulating and everything like that, but my blood work was still coming back as non-ovulatory. And I sat down and talked to my OB at my most recent visit that I had to go and get a gynecological exam. We talked about it, and with the letrozole, that's supposed to make you ovulate on cycle day 14. You're supposed to go on cycle day 21, get the blood work done, and if it comes back as proper levels, then you ovulated. But me, my body, being the weird body that it is and not doing anything that it should, it's not following textbook like she's used to. I don't ovulate on cycle day 14. I usually ovulate on cycle day 18 on this medication. We don't know why. It's 4 days later. We have no clue. We don't know if it's the time that I take the pills, which I don't think so, because I each cycle varies. So I don't think it's that. We don't know. So we have decided that cycle day 25, so 7 days, I test for ovulation on sticks, like the dip tests. And I can generally tell because I can feel it. And I know, like, okay, if I take an ovulation test, it's gonna be positive. Because I can feel it in my ovaries. So we have decided that 7 days after I get a positive ovulation test, I will go and get my blood work done and go from there. Will my results show positive ovulation? Will they not? We'll kind of have to figure that out. Back in July of 2021, we had gotten pregnant. I made it to 10 weeks and had a miscarriage. And my OB said 2 was enough, that she wanted to do a workup of blood work and see if she could figure out what was going on. She sent over labs. There was a huge spider crawling up my window on the outside, so that's why I keep looking up. Anyways, she had a huge workup of blood done. I think they took like 20 test tubes of blood that day. They checked for all kinds of different disorders and reasons that could be causing my babies to pass away. They weren't early, you know, the one was at 14 weeks, the other one was at 10 weeks. So they're not like super early. The one was a little early, but the other one was a second trimester loss. So my OB wanted to figure out why. Well, I tested like abnormal for what is called factor V or factor 5 Leiden or Leiden, L-E-I-D-E-N, I believe is how it's spelled. It's a clotting disorder that arises when your body has too much estrogen. That meaning, when I get pregnant, the estrogen and all my hormones start to rise, I start to get blood clots. And they said it's most commonly found during pregnancy because that makes you have a miscarriage. Generally, a clot will form, get into the placenta somewhere or into the umbilical cord of the baby and stop blood flow, nutrient flow, and cause baby to pass away. So from here on out, once I get a positive pregnancy test at home, I will get 2 blood work done. So the day that I find out, or a couple of days later, I'll go and get my betas. 24 hour or 48 hours after that, so 2 days later, I will go and get my blood redone. Make sure my numbers have doubled properly, and then go from there. And if they have doubled properly, I will be put on Lovenox. Most people would be put on aspirin. I, however, being the strange body that I am, I'm allergic to aspirin. It causes me to have asthma attacks, and I get severe asthma attacks. And so I cannot take aspirin. So Lovenox is the best course of action. And my OB had consulted with my ENT that I go and see down in Pittsburgh, as well as my pulmonologist that was in the same hospital. She kind of emailed all of them and her own people and just kind of figured out a game plan for me whenever I do get pregnant because of these results. So I will be put on a blood thinner throughout the entirety of my pregnancy to help reduce the risk of blood clots forming and causing more miscarriages or missed miscarriages. Then back in December 18th, I remember the day because it was my husband's birthday. I had gotten a very, very, very faint line on a pregnancy test, but it was positive. My numbers, or my levels, my tests had started to get darker, and everything seemed to be going great. I went and got my blood work done, and my results came back at 10.9 or 12.9. which that was 2 or 3 days after my test was first positive, and I knew something wasn't right. I said, I'm gonna end up losing this one. We had lost that one at around 5 weeks. It ended up being a chemical pregnancy my levels never went above 15 that we have on record, but then after that I had to go back and my levels went down to 3 2 days after the 10.9 or 12.9 or whatever it was. My levels went down to 3 and then they were gone. So that pregnancy didn't make it, obviously. That was back in December of 2021. The entirety of 2022, I have not gotten a positive pregnancy test. We're still just kind of trying to figure everything out. So I was still on the double dose of the letrozole. This cycle, which I started yesterday, woke up to it. The letrozole, I am now bumped up to 7.5 milligrams, and hopefully this works, because I mean, if not, it doesn't. But she said generally 7.5 milligrams cycle day 3 through 7. The pharmacy doesn't like her calling that in to the same person more than 1 month at a time. So if it doesn't work, we'll have to try and do different pharmacies maybe, or something else, because the pharmacy doesn't like that high of a percentage or dosage on the specific pills. So I was given 15 today when I went to the pharmacy, and I will be on the letrozole 7.5 milligrams cycle day 3 through 7. So I'm taking 3 tablets for 5 days. And I will keep you guys updated, but that is my TTC journey. I also did get this, which I plan to start trying tomorrow. It's Fertility Tea by Pink Stork. I'm gonna give it a go, see how it is, see how it tastes, see if it works, see if it helps. I had gotten this on Prime Day deals for like 10 bucks for the 15 sachets, so not a terrible price. But yeah, so we've just kind of been figuring things out, and hopefully things can progress. I have been on a prenatal for the last 2.5 years, in hopes that I do get pregnant. I'm beating everything by taking it already, having that stuff in my system that is vital to baby during the first few weeks of development. I still take my asthma medication. I mean, if there's any other like specific questions you guys have for me regarding our TTC journey, please just let me know. But as of right now, it took 2.5 years with an 18-week loss, is how I consider it. It was technically 14 weeks gestation, but it was 18 weeks from the time that we found out we were pregnant until the time that we had found out that we weren't. 18 weeks. 2.5 years with an 18-week loss before getting pregnant with my daughter and conceiving her and carrying her to term. I actually went overdue with her by 2 days, and it's been another 2.5 years. Actually, it's been a little over 2.5 years now, and I really hope it happens sooner rather than later. But we'll just kind of have to play it by ear and see how things go, and hopefully things go better than they do any other month. But as of right now, my fertility medication has been bumped up to 7.5 milligrams versus 2.5 or even 5. But yeah, so I need to go and get my daughter into bed. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Good night.